Bienvenidos al Mr. Franquicia Podcast, el podcast en español número 1 en el mundo maravilloso de las franquicias, conducido por su servidor Rafael Álvarez. Estamos en vivo desde el piso 85 del One World Trade Center desde la ciudad de Nueva York. Así que prepárese, el programa va a comenzar. Saludos. Here we go. Greetings. Saludos. Welcome. Here we are live. We're live from the One World Trade Center on the 85th floor in New York City. Welcome. Bienvenidos a el podcast bilingüe número 1 en inglés y en español, en English and Spanish in the nation. So today we have a very special guest, very interesting. I've been really follow him in social media, and I've seen a tremendous amount of growth that he's having. He's a real true franchisor, a real true Latino that really making a huge difference in the franchise industry, providing a lot of great opportunities to so many people nationwide. Today, our guest is Mike Herrera. He is a 30-year veteran of the franchising industry and has worked for and consulted with large, mid-sized, and small franchise companies in the area of franchising development, marketing, and operations. Mike is the Chief Business Development Officer of Future Vol brands and affiliated brands, Windows Film Depot, Impact Security, CoolVu, Longvol, and wholesaler of CoolVu Auto Spa. Interesting. Also, Mike is the president of CoolVu Glass and Surface Solutions, a franchise operation that launched in February of 2022. Wow, that recent. And has 64 franchise territories and expected to reach 100 plus locations by the end of 2020. Guys, let's give a round of applause to Mike Herrera. My friend Mike, how are you? Woo.
Rafael, I'm doing great. Great to see your face. How are you, my friend?
All right. How are you? A buena hora. It's about time. I mean, we've been talking for so long, try to make this podcast happen, and finally we're able to make it. So I really want to thank you for taking the time. I know that you've been traveling quite a lot. I know that you have been working very hard building your brand. I mean, numbers speak louder than anything else, right, Mike?
That's right. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Rafael. And yes, I'm excited to be on your podcast today. And you're right. I have been traveling quite a bit, and we've got our entire team working very hard to grow our brand, but also to work very hard for our franchise partners as well.
That is fantastic. I mean, I know that you must be getting to connect with a lot of people in the industry, showing up, doing all those Discovery Day. But what I really want to do, first of all, I would like to people to get to know who's really Mike Herrera, because people might see you in social media. You're very active in LinkedIn and all of those social media platforms. But the reality is that people really get to know. I would like to know who's really Mike Herrera. Also, where were you born, Mike? I mean, were you born here? Your parents? I mean, tell us about your background, so people know exactly who you are.
Yeah. Actually, I was born and raised here in Southern California, and my parents are originally from San Antonio, Texas. Grandparents immigrated here from Mexico, but my parents were both born here in the USA, and during the early 60s, I should say, there were a lot of exciting things going on in California, especially in Southern California. And so my dad was actually in the sign industry, and so he decided to take a look at what was going on in California and came out to Southern Cal and did some research, and within about 30 days, sent for my mom and my oldest brother, and they moved out to Southern California and started a family. And it was, never went back to San Antonio. We visited many times, and I continue to visit there because I've got my oldest brother there, as well as aunts and uncles and cousins. But yeah, we stayed here in Southern California.
Oh, fantastic. So technically, so your parents are what, Mexican? Your grandparents, your heritage?
Yes, yes. My grandparents who migrated from Mexico, and also my great grandparents as well, and then of course my parents were born here. So we definitely have the Hispanic blood in us, and both my parents were very fluent in English and Spanish. And in fact, I was brought up speaking Spanish up until about 4 years old. Rafael was speaking Spanish, but what happened is one of my dad's colleagues told him, Ross or Rosendo, you may also know, said, you know what, Ross, you better really start focusing on teaching your boys. At that time, there were two of us, English, because at that time, Rafael, in the early 60s, there were no bilingual schools. It was all English here in California. And so, of course, my dad did not want to take a chance on us getting left behind and not being educated and things like that. So, they did what they believed was the best thing to do, which was to start speaking English more to us and really focusing on English. So throughout our rest of our lives, growing up through elementary, high school and so forth, we spoke nothing but English, but we always heard them speaking Spanish. But of course, as you know, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it, right?
It's like anything else. It's like anything else. It's like your muscles, right? If you don't use it, then you're going to lose it, right?
Yeah.
No, I really understand, and believe it or not, that's really the fabric of this great country in a way. So many people. I mean, yesterday I was doing a podcast with someone that is Italian background. Same thing. I mean, now he's like what, like fourth or fifth generation of Italian American here in the United States. So obviously things are changing. You kind of lose the language, but no matter what, your roots are your roots, and nobody can change that. It's in your DNA, my friend. Believe it or not, right?
That's right. Absolutely. My roots are my roots, and I embrace my roots 100%. And yes, in hindsight, I wish I was very, very much able to speak, fluent Spanish. I can speak some broken Spanish. My wife is very fluent in both English and Spanish, but
Okay.
over time you do pick up a lot of the words and conversations, and so I can get through it fairly well. But yeah, I wish I was a lot more fluent.
So you got educated, I guess, in California also. You went
Yes.
to high school, college in California.
Yes, I went to high school here in Southern California, in the Orange County area, the city called Fountain Valley. And I did not go to college. I was just not one of those kids and students that just was going to move on to college. And so I did not go to college, but I always was kind of a kid where I was really interested in business or in career and things like that. I just always was intrigued with business ownerships and building things too. I was always kind of a maverick type of individual growing up.
So what was your first job when you were young after you grew up? I mean, you just started from the bottom. I mean, what was your? I'm just trying to connect your work experience to what you're actually doing right now, which is very profitable. And that's
well, I did work during high school. I did work at a few fast food places, as we all probably remember. Subway, we all remember Subway, right? Still around, strong company. And that was actually I think my very, very first job was working at Subway during high school, part time. But getting through high school and moving through high school, and I think one of the stories I always tell people about, the one thing that I think that really shifted a lot for me in my life was something my mother did for me. And as we know, there are many gifts your parents can give you in life, right? Of course, the gift of life is one, which is a beautiful thing. But secondly, there are lessons that they give you. And I always go back and say there was one other gift that my mother gave me that was really, really impactful. I think it set the tone, quite honestly, for my entire journey in my business and career in franchising. And it was this:
What was it? Yeah.
graduating from high school, the summer of high school, about a week or so into high school, she found me in my bedroom, just watching TV, relaxing, and that kind of thing. And she point blank asked me, Michael, what are your plans? What are your plans? And I just looked at her. I said, Mom, I don't really know. I want to relax this summer. And she goes, well, that's not an option for you. So you're either going to go down to the junior college and enroll, option one, or option two, you're going to get a job. And during that time, of course, we respected our parents and we honored our parents, and there was no argument there. Those are my two options. And so I just really never was drawn to go to college for myself, but I went out and was able to find a job, and I worked for a sailboat manufacturer down in Newport Beach, California. And I think that was the beginning, really, of me understanding a little bit about franchising, because it was a manufacturing dealer relationship. We were manufacturing boats for dealers that were across the country, affiliated and associated with this company in Newport Beach. And I started to learn how that relationship worked. We made something, we sold it to them. They then sold it to their clients around the country. And I started kind of understanding all those inner workings. I became intrigued with that. And so, that was kind of, I think, a little bit of the taste of a little bit of that, I guess, franchising or business ownership and dealership type of opportunities.
So from there, then you went changing jobs, and what specifically do you do right now, or how do you connect it with your current? What do you tell us? What is your current position? Not your current position. What do you do? What's your specialty?
Well, my current position now is I'm the president of CoolVu, the franchise model, and my job really is to manage the entire team and staff that we have, to really set the vision for the company and the values for our company. Work very closely from time to time with our franchisees and their support staff as well, to make sure that the franchise partners are getting what they need in regards to support, to be looking at other things as far as innovative products or new tools and resources that we can bring in to create even more value to the franchise partners that we have. So that's really kind of my day-to-day activity.
But before you were president, were you already? What was your entry position at the company?
Well, I started years ago after, of course, leaving that particular job in the sailboat manufacturing business. I spent some time going into some little odd-end businesses here and there, and some other odd-end jobs. And then finally, I got into an opportunity to get into a franchise opportunity. It was a food franchise, along with myself and another partner. And we opened up a food franchise. We had the operation for about 4 years.
Which one?
Well, it was called O'Delly. I don't believe it's around any longer.
Okay.
I think, to be honest with you, I think it was a little bit of ahead of its time. But it was a very unique business model. I liked the model. I learned a lot about franchising in that model. I understood the relationship between franchisor and franchisee, and that really also was intriguing to me. But all along the way, Rafael, I met people in the franchising industry as well.
Nice.
I developed some friendships at the franchisor level of that company. And we had some very good, relationships and friendships there. And so after we left the franchise,
How many locations? Just one location?
Just one location, yeah.
In California?
Yes, here in Southern California. And I moved on and was going to be looking at other opportunities. And I had developed a friendship with somebody at the company. He had then simultaneously, he left as well and was getting involved in another franchise company in the actual home inspection industry.
So you got involved with which company in particular?
The actual home inspection company was called InspecTech out of Northern California.
Okay.
And my friend that I had become friends with was the VP of development there. And he reached out to me one day and said, hey, what are your plans? I know you've left the restaurant business and industry. What are your plans? I said, I don't know yet. I'm going to kind of think this through and figure out what I want to do next. And he goes, well, why don't you think about getting into franchise development? He goes, you've got the right personality. You've been in franchising. You understand the relationship between the franchisor or franchisee. You understand the value of the systems and all of those things that go with franchising. Why don't you think about it? I'd like to get you involved in what I'm doing. So I said, let me give some thought. So about 30 days went by, and I reached back out to him, and he flew me up to Northern California. I learned more about the company. I learned more deeper about the other side of the business, which is the franchisor side of the business, right? And one thing led to another, and I decided to come on board. And he was really my mentor, and he developed me in the franchise development side of the business. And I was there for about I think 3.5 years. Then he retired, and I was working out of the Southern California office for that company, Inspect Tech, and I happened to be in a building where I ran into somebody in an elevator who happened to be a family friend of ours, who was more of a friend of my parents. His son played baseball with my youngest brother.
Wow.
And I ran into him in the elevator. He goes, what are you doing here? And I said, no, what are you doing here? And he goes, well, I work here. And I said, so do I. And so I told him what I did. And he goes, wow. He goes, I work for a small company called King International. And I said, no kidding, which we all know it's not a small company.
Of course.
And I told him what I did. He goes, I'm looking for a franchise development guy. And so one thing led to another, and we met, and I moved from that Inspect Tech company. I moved over to King International. I learned a tremendous amount of franchising at King as well. It was a great experience. I really loved the people, and it was really a lot of fun. I then was there about probably 5 years or so, and he retired as well, and I felt I didn't have too much of a loyalty there any longer after he left. So I had an opportunity. I was recruited actually to another company in the shipping and mailing industry. That was kind of an up and coming company. And that was called, I think, AIM Mail Centers out of Southern California. So I was there for a few years, and then I got also then recruited by another company, a small company called Budget Blinds. And I was at Budget Blinds from about 2000 to about 2007, just before the whole collapse that we had in the real estate industry.
And when you became CFE?
I'm sorry?
When did you become a certified franchise executive, CFE?
I think it was back when I was at King International when I became a CFE back then. Yeah.
That's a good credential to have.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I can see all the great experience that you were able to acquire throughout all of those years, in all of those companies. So yeah, for you was kind of natural to become a certified franchise executive, which you are, right?
Yep, absolutely. No, it really, this whole journey has been a great journey. Learning a lot from every company I went to, learning from people, my peers that I had as well, from them, being able to learn from some of the other, the presidents or the founders of those companies, was a great experience. And I learned, I took every experience as a learning opportunity. So from there, I moved on to some other companies. I did some consulting with some companies as well. I did some work also and worked with H&R Block, which is another large company in the tax industry.
What were you doing there?
Well, there I actually, they had started a program to really grow the franchise side. As you well know, they kind of have a model where it's company-owned operations as well as some franchise models, right? Franchisees. And they had brought in a new CEO, and the new CEO was a lot more pro-franchise, and they really wanted to grow that side of the business. And so they had brought in a few executives to help spearhead growth around the country with building out some sales and development teams. I was picked to head up the sales and development team on the West Coast, brought in a few extra development people. We started getting involved in doing acquisitions, going to independent tax preparation companies and acquiring them and converting them to
So it means that you met my friend, what's his name, Jose Alvarez from San Francisco. He was
Yes,
also in the acquisition department.
yes,
Right?
I do remember. Yeah, I do remember.
Remember him?
Yeah, I
I
do
know.
remember. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think he used to live in LA, but I know that he was working in San Francisco when I went to meet him once there.
yes, yes. Yeah, great,
Wow.
great,
So
great guy.
all of these were happening, I'm assuming, before the pandemic, and then suddenly the pandemic hit. What happened to you during the pandemic?
Well, that then during during that time, are you talking about during the pandemic?
Yes.
During the pandemic, actually, I was already involved with CoolVu.
When you joined him, when you took, and how you connected with them.
Yeah, I connected with CoolVu because during my time with Budget Blinds, which is about 7 years or so, 6 or 7 years with Budget Blinds, I happened to have met the founder and CEO, Jeff Franson of Future View Brands, which is our parent company.
Okay.
And he had been working with Budget Blinds to implement maybe a kind of a window film installation program with them. It was not really going to be a core offering of theirs, but it was going to be kind of a supplemental offering their franchisees could offer. And so that was the whole idea behind it. And so there was a relationship there. And I had met him a number of times when he came to the office. We stayed connected through social media. We connected on the phone periodically. And then probably like, I guess about 3.5, almost 4 years ago, he reached out to me by phone and said, "Hey, Mike, I've got this idea and this product and this brand that I think could be a great opportunity. And I'm looking for someone like you." And I said, "Well, tell me more about it." So one thing led to another, and we took the product that he had been wanting to bring to market, which was a transitional window film, which was very unique. Most film today or back then and even now, is a static film. Whatever shade you want is what you get, right? But
So we're
this,
talking about films for Windows.
yes, window film for glass that you would put on your home or your business or the window right behind you. So yeah, but this particular technology of film is a transitional film that goes from light to dark, right? Just like the glasses. And so we were going to take that to market. We were going to really kind of just see how the marketplace not only accepted that product, and we were going to distribute it through independent window film tinters across the country. We did that. The industry itself really accepted well the actual CoolVu brand name. The consumers did as well. The product was well received. It did very well, and all of that was really with the idea of someday looking at getting this into the franchise industry, because there is not really anybody in the what we call the space for window film tinting.
So you guys are the only one in your space? Is that what it is?
Well, in what we call in the flat glass space, we would say that there are just a few. There are only really two of us in the flat glass space. Most of the others are more in the automotive window tinting. We don't do any automotive window tinting. What we do is residential, retail, and commercial window tinting. But solar window tinting is just one part of it. There's a lot of other subcategories in the window film space as well.
So tell me about the name, CoolVu. What's the meaning behind the VU? So the listeners, people that are listening or watching this.
Yeah.
The name is CoolVu. CoolVu.
CoolVu. View.
So tell us about the name. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, Jeff Franson was the person that created and developed.
CoolVu. Is that what it means? Cool, like it's a nice view. It's a very cool view. Okay.
Exactly right. Exactly right. As you can see, how cool is your view, right? So that
yeah.
Off of that. Yep. So instead of just writing out view, we just use VU, CoolVu. He had this brand for a number of years, and didn't quite know what he was going to do with it years and years ago, but he knew someday it was going to be a very valuable brand. It could really be a great opportunity. So bringing on some unique products in the space, and of course, looking at being able to create a franchise model around that brand made a lot of sense. Coming to market with a whole portfolio of product lines made a lot of sense, and so that's what we did. We really kind of, it's interesting. One of our regional support directors calls Jeff and I kind of the dynamic duo, because of the fact that He's
Yeah,
got
like you guys are like Batman and Robin.
yeah. Because of the fact that he's got such a tremendous amount of experience and knowledge, well over 25, 30 years of experience in the window film, window tinting industry, well respected. It made a lot of sense because of his experience and background in that area. And of course, it made a lot of sense for me with my experience in franchising. So kind of putting our heads together and in developing out a concept that made a lot of sense, that could provide a lot of value to consumers, but could create a great opportunity for people who want to be, self-employed and want to be a business owner.
No, this is fantastic. So technically, so the company started with just one location, corporate location, and then from there transitioned into franchising and started then replicating the model.
Yeah, well, we did it a little bit differently because of the fact that one of our affiliate companies, Window Film Depot, which is one of our affiliate companies, has been around over 25 years, has been doing it for 25 years as a regional, then a national window film or window tinting company. Their area of expertise is really working with large retail box companies like the Walmarts or the Walgreens or the Verizons, and doing 50 locations or 100 or thousands of locations at a time. That's really been their area of expertise. So what we did, Raphael, is we took all of that experience, all of that knowledge, all of that success, right? And we just brought it down to a local level where we could share all those experiences, knowledge, and systems with a local franchisee. And then we
Wow.
put on top of that, we put the name CoolVu, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we've done, and it's been a great experience. It really has.
So how much is the franchising fee? So I'm assuming that you guys are in selling mode, selling these franchises like pancake. For what I see, I mean, if you started in 22, and this is what, about a year ago? How long ago?
Yeah, so we officially launched in February of 2022, and to date we have about 64 franchise territories operational. We have some that have franchise partners who have one territory. We have some that have two, and we have some that have three territories. But our target, and we believe we're going to very easily reach our target by the end of this year, will be at least 100 or more operating franchise territories.
So how much is the franchising fee? How much it costs?
Yeah, the franchise fee, we have actually two different fees, Raphael. We have a franchise fee, which the franchise fee is $19,900. We can finance that franchise fee in-house over 72 months. If you are a veteran, we will waive that franchise fee. If you are a first responder, women-owned or minority-owned business, we will reduce that 50%, that franchise fee, and we will still finance that in-house over 36 months. Now, also, if you want to pay those franchise fees off up front, we would then provide you an additional 25% discount on the franchise
All
fee.
right, fantastic.
Okay?
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, so that's the franchise fee. We do have
I was going to say that. What else?
We have what we call a territory fee, because we do provide protected territories. So
Okay.
for a single territory, it's 40,000. For a second territory, it's 30, and for a third, it's 20,000. And all of our territories.
Okay, so let me see if I follow you. So what you're saying is that the franchising fee is $19,000, and then you will be doing your thing there. But if you want to have a protected territory that will be exclusive for you, then you could pay an additional $40,000, right?
That's correct.
That gives you exclusivity within that territory, meaning nobody else can compete with you. Nobody will have another franchisees within that territory, that kind of stuff.
That's correct. So we will not award another franchise in that protected territory. Correct. So it's 19,900 plus the 40,000 gets you a single territory.
Okay. And the territory is based on population, based on what's the metrics.
Yeah, the demographics that we use is around single family or owner occupied units in a marketplace. We want to see at least a minimum, no less than 70,000 single family owner occupied units. We also look at average household incomes. We also look at the number of retail businesses and the number of commercial structures. Because keep in mind, everything that we do has to do with glass, right? We've got products for windows and glass on retail storefronts, commercial glass, residential glass. Those are the things that we're looking for, and also, of course, flat surfaces. We've got products that we can actually reskin non-porous flat surfaces. We can actually wrap them with different types of vinyl material.
Will it work in a city, condensed city like New York City or LA, or a lot of buildings, a lot of apartments? I mean, you mentioned houses, but what about apartments?
Absolutely, those are all opportunities as well. Those would be considered to be additional units or additional real estate units in the marketplace. But we're really looking more at, as far as the demographics, at single family owner occupied units.
Do you need an office, home office, or no?
Home office. So it's a home office driven business, mobile business. Our franchisees either have vans that they work out of, or they have.
Yeah, but do they require, you guys require for them to have like a brick and mortar operate a location to run their business, or not? They could run it from home?
Not required. Absolutely not.
From home, they can do it, right?
Yep.
But the vehicle is the most, and they have to get it from you. It is I see it's a great, beautiful, what is it? Co-branded. Here it is, co-branded minivan. I love it. I like it.
Yeah, just like you see there, the van there. So a franchisee secures their own van, and then we actually do create for them, as part of the package, we actually create a wrap for them, and make sure their business phone number's on there, those types of things. And then we provide them the wrap, and then they have that installed locally in their local market.
All right, and then I guess the vehicle is a lease. They have to. That's part of also item 7, item 7 on the FTD, the whole vehicle cost, or how do you do it? You guys have a deal with a local dealer, or how do you guys deal with it?
So usually what we do is recommend the franchisees go into the local market and find the vehicles. We could give them some direction in regards to locating them, but typically they'll work out their own transaction in their own local market.
All right, makes sense. What about royalties?
Royalties are a flat royalty. So the franchisees start with a flat royalty of $400 per month for the first year. And those royalties don't start until the 3rd month after completing training. So once they've completed training, they get a couple of months of getting ramped up, and then the royalties will start at $400 a month for the first year. And then they'll go up to $800 a month for year number 2, and they'll go up to $1,200 in year number 3, and then they'll go up to $1,600 per month in year number 4 to the end of the 10-year term of the franchise agreement.
Oh, I like this. I like this design for businesses, right? You guys do the whole thing, the graphics design and everything.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. When you think about CoolVu, think about it this way, Rafael, is that anything to do with glass or flat surfaces, we've got a product for that. So let's say, as an example, there are really 3 legs of our revenue opportunity. There's the window film or window tinting or window film side of the business. But even in the window film, there are really subcategories, right? You've got your solar films that help you from the heat, the glare, the fade control. But then you've got like decorative films, right? You've got security films. You've got switchable smart film. You've got cloaking films. There's so many different types of other applications for glass in the window film space. Then you move over to the second leg of revenue. That's your printed graphics and wall murals. Now, the beauty of this is that the franchisees don't have to invest in a wide format printer. Okay? They don't have to invest in a retail location or a commercial location. We do all the printing for them. We've got 2 locations across the country, one in Glendale, Arizona, and one in Marietta, Georgia, where we have flat wide format printers, where we have teams that can print everything for our franchisees, and then they'll box them and ship them to the franchisees to install for their clients. So that's the other leg of business opportunity for the franchisee. And then the third leg of revenue opportunity is what we call the architectural surface finishes or architectural finishes. So any non-porous flat surface, either be tabletops in a restaurant, doors at a hotel or a hospital, any type of cabinetry that has, that's pretty flat, those can all be wrapped with a vinyl material, either in solid colors or textured material or wood grain colors as well. And so instead of having to replace those items, they can do what we call refresh those items, right? So
Yeah.
typically it's about half the cost of replacement, and you have no disruption to your business. Think of it this way: if you have a hotel and you've got 400 rooms and doors, and you want to replace those are very expensive fire rated doors, and to
Uh-huh.
take them off the hinges is a lot of time and effort. We can actually go in and wrap those without taking them off the hinges and not be so disruptive to your business. So it's a great product. Now, pulling all of those three revenue products together and collectively, what makes them very much alike? Think of it this way: the window film, the printed graphics, and the architectural surface finishes, they all have something in common. They're all peel and stick material,
Uh-huh.
right? So you don't need any specialized heavy equipment or anything like that. It's very simple.
Wow, I can see that this is a very profitable business. I mean, I don't know the metrics, I don't know the numbers, but I'm assuming, I don't know if you can share. I mean, it takes a long time for people to recoup the investment, or what?
Well, the margins are very good, and I want to be careful because we're
Yeah, yeah,
limited.
yeah.
We can
Yeah, it's called.
We do have an item 19, but it
All
only
right.
goes so far because of our early time that we've had so far. Um, but yes, the margins can be very exciting once people start learning about the business. They start validating with our franchisees. They will learn very quickly that the margins are very nice in this business. No doubt
What else
about
do
it.
you guys? What else? What else do you provide to the franchisees? I mean, I'm assuming what training, technology, any technology.
We do actually. So they do go through 4 days of comprehensive training, not only on the how to run the CoolVu business, but also, of course, on there's the marketing aspects of the business that they learn about, both the things that they'll be doing in the local market and the things that we'll be doing for them on their behalf. And then, of course, installation. They spend a lot of time learning how to install window film, how to install printed graphics and wall murals, how to install architectural surface finishes. And then, of course, yes, we do have a technology platform. We provide them as part of the package. We provide them a tablet that has our CoolVu Pro software on it. So this is a business software that allows them to not only run their operation on a daily basis as far as having all their business contacts in the software, but to do all their proposals, to do all their the pricing and setting up their proposals, to doing all of their scheduling, to receiving proposals electronically that have been approved by their clients. So really, this is a great technology that they'll use
And
to operate.
how do you handle the marketing? You guys provide the marketing. Do you collect the marketing fee also, or not?
We don't collect a what we call a brand marketing fee at this time. We want to reserve that to a point when we get to maybe a little bit higher number of operating territories, and then we can really then set the vision for the franchisees of how we're going to use these resources and how it's going to benefit them. So
So
at
how
the
how do they pick up then? How do they pick up clients? How business come to them? I mean, if they don't know,
yeah, well
there is no
there's
marketing at all, or not.
absolutely. So there are marketing plans that we share with them that they'll be implementing in their local market. One of the things that they'll be doing is, and we actually do set it up for them, is their Google business pages, their Facebook pages. As you know, a lot of business is done now over social media. People
Correct.
learn about your products and services through social media. People are searching all the time through all the different search engines, especially Google. So Google My Business pages, we have a great vendor who has partnered with us, and for a very small investment every month, the franchisees can have a great optimized Google business page in their local market. We've seen a lot of success with that for our franchisees. We also have a national program with Angie's Leads, and we've seen some great success with Angie's Leads as well. The other thing that we also have from our side of it on the corporate side is because of our relationship with several of our affiliate brands. Window Film Depot, as well as Impact Security, they generate a good number of leads on a daily basis as well. As an example, Window Film Depot, they generate a lot of leads, but those leads that they get may not be leads that they're looking to actually do. They're not larger, either commercial structures or large retailers with multiple locations. So those could be residential leads, they could be retail leads, they could be small commercial leads. Those leads, we're actually pushing all those leads down to our franchisees in their local markets. So that's happening really on a daily basis. We see those opportunities. The other part of it too is that we do create on CoolVu.com website unique landing pages for all of our franchise partners. So they all have their own landing pages. We optimize those landing pages for them with keyword search and those types of things. And so we're seeing a lot of activity from those pages as well. So we're really seeing a lot of activity, both from what the franchisees are doing in the local level as far as marketing, but also we're seeing a lot of things that we're doing for them and driving opportunities to them on a daily basis.
And how you picking up franchises? I mean, you get them at trade shows, or how aggressive are you guys are marketing, going after uh, potential leads, franchisees, and also do you have a I mean, you have a big number of Latinos also franchisees. How's that going so far?
Yeah, so I would say right now we're generating a good number of our candidates through both organically through our CoolVu.com website organically, but also through our broker network relationships we have with probably at least a good 5 or 6 different networks out there that we work very closely with. And I have worked with them in the past and have good relationships with all of them. And so they really have embraced the CoolVu model very, very well. We're really happy about that. As far as number of Latinos in our franchise companies thus far, we actually have 3. One out of the West Palm Beach area. We have also 3 brothers actually in San Antonio, and then we just brought on, excuse me, a new franchise partner out of Wichita, Kansas, as well. So we now have 3 people of Latino backgrounds as part of the franchise. But I would like to see a lot more. I would like to
Oh
see.
no, definitely. Well, there are 63 million Latinos, so you know it's not
Yeah,
a secret. We're the 5th largest GDP group, generating $2.83 trillion. So yeah, I mean, if I were you, I would really target a lot more area. Where are you focusing on? Which segment of the country? East, west, south? I mean, where are you
yeah.
at?
We are really focused on a national presence right now, Rafael. We now have, I believe we're now in 20, if I'm not mistaken, we're in 26 states now, soon to be 30 states.
Wow.
And so I think we've got a very nice balanced footprint across the United States.
Well, definitely. I mean, I would like to. I think I sent you the invitation anyway because we're hosting an event focusing on the Latino market in the New York metropolitan area. I don't know if you guys are selling or registered in the state of New York, or at least in the New York metropolitan area that includes Jersey and Connecticut and Pennsylvania. But in August, we're having a Franquicia Fest, and we're looking for brands that we can connect also with. This is the Latino Franchise Association to try to really promote franchising within the Latino community and really try to wake up all of those Latinos that want to grow. And Latinos, listen, Latino, we love money. We like to make money. We like expensive things, right? Beautiful cars, beautiful houses. So nothing better than getting them involved in franchising that we know that it is so profitable and they can make so much money. But I felt, I mean, I'm telling you, I went all over the country promoting my brand when I was, when I was really developing my brand, and I hate it after every discovery presentation that one of them would come to me and say, "Mr. Albert, explain to me how this works. So I'm gonna work, make money, and what percentage you taking out of my money?" And I said, "Well, yeah, there is a royalty. We're collecting 10% royalty, whatever, 5% royalty." And they said, "Wow, so I work and then you take it." I rather do it on my own and then keep 100% of my money. And
Yeah.
then that's what demonstrated to me that Latinos at that time, they were not ready. They didn't get it. They didn't get the whole franchising concept, which
Yeah.
now they're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I mean,
Yeah.
based on what I'm doing, based on what the association, the Latino Franchise Association is doing, and we see that now many of them are starting to wake up and smell the coffee and say, wait a minute, look what we have been missing out on. I'm sure that you'll see what's gonna happen with your brand, but let me know, speculate. But I know that
No.
what
No
people are
doubt.
looking is people like you that have the knowledge, that have the know-how, that have the willingness to teach them well, so they can really be profitable in the business. That's all, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I share that all the time with different people that I talk to periodically with our development team. Is that you know you have to really, when you start looking at any types of fee structures and royalties like that, you have to look at it also from the perspective of what is the value that the company is bringing to me, not only in the branding, but all the materials, the marketing materials that have been developed, the online strategies and materials, the technology, the products, right? The products and development of products, the branding around those products, the lead generation, all of those things. And you start looking at all of
The pricing. I'm sure that they get the films and everything at a very minimum
oh,
cost compared
absolutely.
if they will do it on their own. If they will be having one location on their own. I mean,
Yeah.
there is a way they can order the volume of films, whatever materials,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That is
So
being used.
we have our own branded products and the aggressive pricing that we leverage to get good pricing that we can offer them to our franchisees as well. But yeah, if you guys start looking at all the different people that are involved in our company and all the different support services that we provide, and you try to say, what would it cost me as an individual to have access to these kinds of people in my own business? There's no way you could afford it, right? As an independent, you could not afford to have a marketing person, operations person, a technology person, somebody developing new concepts and ideas, going out there and building strategies and relationships to drive more leads to you. You would not be able to afford that. But for $400 a month with us, you have access to all of that,
Wow.
right? So,
I
and then
mean,
and of course, when you look at another way to look at it too is look at it from the side of the exit strategy, down the road when I want to decide to move on, perhaps. Is your company and your business going to be more valuable as a franchise model or as an individual, mom and pop model? Will you have access to more buyers as a franchise model than a independent, right? So I
oh
think it's
my
very
God. Yeah, it's very cool. I'm sure that well, at least I grew up here in Washington Heights, Northern Manhattan, and I remember seeing so many people in the block basically doing car tinted window, right? That's how they call it. And,
yeah,
and, and I imagine if they'll be able at that time, if they'll be able to have access to an opportunity like this, it is basically taking their street smart skills to another level because that's really what it is. I mean, they started doing car now, taking it to do commercials, windows, and doing all that stuff. I mean, it is a totally different ballgame. I can see that this is a great franchise business model. I see that it's not very hard to do. I mean, to learn, it's all about getting the training and listening and being dedicated. And I'm sure that being part of a company like yours, no wonder you guys are growing so quick, so fast. And I see that you are very knowledgeable in franchising because that's key also. People realize that a lot of people think that franchising is easy, and I'm sure that Mike you already figured it out. It's not that easy. It takes a lot of work and it has a lot of moving parts the way I see it. And all of those
absolutely.
moving parts have to be working como un reloj suizo. That's how we say it in Spanish,
Yep.
like a Swiss watch, right?
Yep.
So everything will work fine. Any final thought, Mike? Before we wrap it up, because we're running out of time.
Well, listen, no, I just want to thank you, Raphael, for giving me the opportunity to be on your podcast today. And we do look forward to participating in your event. I believe it's in September. Is that right?
It's in August, first week in August, 2 days, 4th and 5th of August, Friday and
Okay.
Saturday, and we have a
Yes.
golf tournament the day before.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
I would love to have you because my goal. I mean, I've been talking to a lot of people. I'm you guys. I don't think you're gonna have a lot of people. This and that. I said, listen. You don't understand. This is different the way we see. This is more like a community event. I mean,
Yeah.
we are. I'm gonna give you an example. I've been talking to the people from Choice Hotels. They have like 50, 20 hotels. And basically, they said to us, hey, guys, we've been trying to connect with Latinos so they can get into the hotel business. Not even 1%. Meanwhile, the Indians and the Pakistanis, they own like 20, 60% of the industry. What do we have to do to connect with these people? I said, just come to our show. And guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna bring you the supermarket, Latino Supermarket Association. Those people own like 70, 80 supermarket within the New York metropolitan area. Let me bring you the Latino Medical Doctor Association, the Latino Dental Association, and all those professional people that have money, resources, capital, and they're doing very well. And I'm sure that they wouldn't mind investing in some of these great opportunities, or perhaps talk to some relatives that they can provide the capital so they can be part of these franchises. So that is a great opportunity. And Latinos, believe me, when they see an opportunity and they see someone that is willing to really look, I built a brand with 90% of the franchisees, 90, 95, they were Latino. I know what it takes. I know what it is, and I know how hard this segment, this group of people work, and they are dedicated. I mean, you know what I learned also, Mike. I was talking to someone the other day at the headquarters of New Brands. I was participating in the event there, but uh, the people from 7-Eleven, I hear that 7-Eleven, they identify that what is their best profile, franchisees profile. Believe it or not, you know what is the best franchisee profile for them? Is a Latino woman, a woman, a Latino descent. And the reason why is because they keep those stores like if it is their home.
Yeah.
You know, they were joking to say, I wouldn't be surprised if they ask people to take the shoes off when they walk into the store,
Right.
because they are passionate about keeping the store very, very crystal clean, and also following the system, which is really key in franchising.
Yeah, no, and listen, I agree 100%, and I think franchising is a great opportunity for any Latino out there that's looking to go into business. They should really be looking at franchising, and either be CoolVu or other business models, something that's going to fit their skill sets, their background, their likes, those types of things. I think makes a lot of sense for them to be looking at as a business opportunity. And the other thing I think real quickly, Rafael, is that the one thing that's really kind of unique about Latinos too is that we're very family structured, right? Very
Right.
family structured. So when it comes to even like additional labor within the business, typically it's not an individual business, it's a family business, right? So
Right.
typically you're going to have people wanting to get involved as a family, not as an individual.
Uh-huh.
So I think that's the other unique thing about the Latinos, is that they have the ability to start a business, and then they bring in additional family members to be part of the business and to be part of the labor in the business.
That's how I sold so many franchise locations. A lot of people tell me, "Oh my God, how are you doing so well?" And I see you going to all of these trade shows. I was going to a lot of trade shows, but I wasn't that successful. I didn't really were able to sell that many at the trade shows. Most of my franchises came, like you said, from family members.
Mm-hmm.
If one of them was doing well, if we as franchisor, if I did my job, provided the support, the training support, and everything else, and they did well and they're making good money, guess what? They're gonna bring the whole family.
Yes.
Y el primo, son the uncle, son el tío, el sobrino, el primo, el hermano. Everybody wants to have their own franchise in the same franchise.
Well, Rafael, let me know. Listen, you can count us in for that event in August. We're CoolVu will be there as an exhibitor at your event. Okay, but also let me know also whatever I can do to be whatever type of ambassador to help you with your Latino association. I'm happy to provide some assistance on that side of it as well.
Well, definitely. I'm sure there is a lot that can be done, and even I can, we have some seats at the board levels. Also, if you want to get involved, at least participate as one of part of the advisory board, etc., etc. But look, that's really what it is. In reality, it's all about promoting the franchising brand. I mean, what we're doing, it is going to help the whole industry, whether they join your brand or they join another. I don't really care. They join. I have brands also. Right now, I'm launching a whole bunch of brands under the Latinx franchise brand company that I created, and
Mhm.
and I'm not thinking about my brands. I'm talking about in general, because everybody's gonna benefit from franchisors to even franchise consultants, franchise brokers, to IFA, to even the expos. What is it, MFB? and everybody else is gonna benefit in the industry
Yep.
by having a new wave of people that are really gonna be investing, buying franchises, and or launching their own franchise brand, etc., etc. So look, Mike, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I see that you are very, very knowledgeable, and I really want to congratulate you for your success and
Thank you.
really in building in such a quick pace your franchise brand. A lot of success. I see that this thing is gonna be huge. I love to use the word. It's gonna be huge, baby. You'll see. Just keep it up. Don't give up. And anything that I can help, also let me know. I mean, my job is to be able to connect you. And I personally can see that a lot of Latinos will incline to your line of business because many of them used to do them when they were young. When they were younger, I remember seeing on the street two things they
Yep.
were doing.
Yep.
Car tinted windows, and also a lot of them were doing the radio installation. Replacing the vehicle traditional radio with more sophisticated radio and speakers and that kind of stuff. I remember opening. It became very popular. They were like one in every block in Northern
Yep.
Manhattan, Washington Heights, and also in the Bronx. All right, my friend. Thank you for everything. I hope to see you soon. If I don't connect with you, well, obviously I'll be talking to you before our event in August. The event that we're talking about is called Franquicia Fest. It's the largest Latino franchise expo in the country. It's taking place in August 3, 4, 5 at the New York Mario Marquis Hotel in Times Square. So registration is free for the general public. Free for the general public. We're gonna have 100 to 150 franchise brands, about 40 different uh, presentations and panels. By the way, I'll see if I can put you one of the panels, Mike, if you don't mind, so you could be one of the speakers at that event.
Sure.
And also motivate, and perhaps someone can really relate to your story and everything else that you're doing. So that's all for today, folks. Thank you. Muchas gracias por escucharnos. Thank you for participating. And Mike, I'll bring you back again to another one so we can really talk and promote. And perhaps maybe as we get closer to the Franquicia Fest, we can do another one just focusing on perhaps inviting people to come and meet you in person so you can tell them exactly how your unique franchise business model, can change their life, right?
That sounds great, Rafael. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
All right, my friend. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Until next time. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Muchas gracias por escuchar nuestro podcast. Esperamos que la información haya sido de su agrado. Manténgase en sintonía, síganos en todas las plataformas de social media y visite nuestra página en el internet www.mrfranquicias.com. Hasta la próxima.